Welcome to Ram and Goat Astrology. Join Helena and me, Laura Lee, each week as we take you on an explorative journey of astrology and health, reading charts, talking planetary energies, while educating and entertaining you. We help you navigate the mysteries of the stars and how they affect you personally. Here we go. Hello.
Hey, hello. Welcome to Ram and Goat, episode 5.
Episode 5 already?
Yeah,
We're
and
having fun.
we are. Today we're talking about the moon in the signs. So your moon in the different signs will show how you are emotionally, what your needs are, and pretty much how you will act in situations when you get emotional.
Yeah, and it's our reactionary planet. It's not logical in any sense of the word. That would be Mercury, but for our moon, it's very much reactionary. It's our programmed responses from our parents, right? It's that kind of how we get shaped internal world. It's our deepest personal needs and really what goes on inside and how we protect ourselves inside. How do you emotionally
Yeah.
protect yourself?
Yeah. So interesting. When I learned about my moon, I felt like I could really understand myself much more.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
oh, I see.
For sure. I'm an Aries sun in the 11th house, but I'm a Gemini moon in the 12th house. And those hidden emotions show up when my 6th house Uranus gets triggered. So I would just have these weird emotional episodes and didn't understand any of it until
Mm,
astrology helped me. And I'm like, oh, that's what was happening my whole life.
okay. Yeah,
That would have been
yeah,
nice to know.
for sure. Yeah, and me, I have my moon is in Capricorn, and
Hmm.
that makes me very much sort of like a matter of fact when it comes to emotions. And like the first thing when something arises, like, okay, well, sort of whatever about the feelings, how do we fix this? And yeah, that can be good and bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it
everything.
depends on the situation. Yeah. Maybe it's an
Yeah.
emergency situation that calls for you to put your emotions aside.
Mm.
Or maybe we need to learn how to
Feel.
soften, right?
Yeah.
So the moon is really important to know also for your children because children function in their moon sign until they're about 8, really. It's their moon, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Those 4 planets are really where kids live. And then when they're kind of preteen and teen is when Saturn really starts to rear its head. And then teenager years is really like Saturn and Mars.
Mm.
But the moon is really what your baby is and what your toddler really, really runs on. And understanding that your child's moon is so important to parenting
Mm.
them in a healthy way. So I'm a big
Yeah.
one for helping parents understand their crazy children.
Yeah, because I mean, I've worked with children, and they just act from emotions all the time. They
All
just
the
they
time.
don't hide it.
Yeah.
So
They can't.
knowing, yeah, they can't, and they shouldn't. And I guess maybe we should be, I
If
don't know,
if I
maybe
had my
controlling
way,
it a bit more like that.
right? If I had my way, I would create a school
Mm.
that would base the learning style and the way that the child is interacted with on an astrological chart. So if this child has an Earth Mercury, they are going to be in this category where they don't have shorter classes, right? They have real long classes where they can dive deep into something. Or if
Repeat stuff
Yep, or if
over
this
and over
these
and
are the
over.
kids who have, a Mars and Aries, like we need to or Fire Mars, we need to get them on the playground like every hour on the hour, right? Like I think it would be so much better if we understood this from a basic core level of parenting. Like you have your baby, here's their birth chart. Like
Yeah,
you get a birth certificate and a natal chart. Ta-da!
yeah,
Understand your kid and help them become the best version of this thing right here
mm.
that is their roadmap. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes. And also because when you, like, let's say a child, but also as adults, if we don't know this about ourselves yet, you know, we feel a certain way, and then maybe society or friends or parents show you or tell you that you're not allowed to feel that way,
Yes.
and you're like, Oh shit! You're confused and
Yes.
you beat yourself up and
Yeah.
you get really confused.
I get this a lot when with Gemini moon, I can feel conflicting feelings at the same
Mm,
time. And one of them is usually a stronger feeling and but I'll have parents or my mom would tell me growing up, "Oh, no, it's okay, it's okay. You don't feel bad. Feel this way instead." Right? Instead of just
mm,
honoring the yucky feeling and letting me just move through it, I was told not to feel that way.
yeah,
That's hard.
yeah.
That's hard. And she didn't mean anything by it, right? She
Mm.
was just consoling me.
But
But
what do you wish that your parents told you as a kid about you? Like, what do you wish that they would allow you?
that's such a good question.
Mm,
I think it would be, hey, it's okay to feel shitty right now. That will
yeah.
pass. Let me know if you need any assistance or let me know if you need a hug, right?
Mm,
Just a communication of whatever it is you're feeling
mm,
is fine. You're not
yeah,
going to stay there for long. And when you are ready to transition, I'm right here waiting for you, holding space.
yeah,
Like right now, I'm just like feeling emotional already about that. Like that's
yeah,
like think about that if we talk to our children that way. Like it's how I talk to my children frequently, but that's because I do astrology.
yeah.
So the moon is like, look at me, I'm feeling all emotional right now. The moon is
That's
something that
amazing. You got to say that to yourself.
right. Like
Yeah.
thanks for that question, Helena. What would you say to that with your Capricorn moon?
I would have wanted to hear that it's okay to not be the responsible one.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel that strongly too. Like,
For
yeah,
those of
I
you
could get
watching and
emotional.
listening, Capricorns, like we will dive into that deeper, but oh,
Mm,
I love them so much. They are the hardest working human beings I've ever seen in my life.
mm,
And to have a Capricorn moon is that's a responsibility.
yeah,
And oh, that I feel that for you.
yeah, yeah. I would have. Yeah, I would have. I mean, when I was a kid, like it really started showing up more when I was like 8, 9, 10. I think I really remember it. Like really taking responsibility. I wish I would have played more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's never too late
It's
to
not.
start
It's
playing.
not. Yeah.
So
And
you need
Capricorn is like old when young and young when old. So
yes.
I'm getting younger by the day.
Yes, I feel that. I have my Saturn is in my fifth house of play, so I
Yeah.
understand that Capricorn Saturn connection for sure. So with the moon, let's dive into we know kind of what the moon represents. We're getting all emotional here and all
Mm.
feely, right?
Yeah.
And feeling secure. So when you have your moon in Aries, how does one feel secure? How does one emote? Do you have any Aries moon people in your life? I do.
Yeah. I do.
Tell me your experience with these Aries moon
So this
folks.
is my nephew, and he's just 2.5, but it's showing up a lot. He's an Aries sun and an Aries moon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
So
lot of excitement.
my yeah, um, yeah, he is a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He is a lot, and you can really see how he's just like sort of doing. He needs to be active all the time, and he
All the
needs
time.
to activate others to get. He wants active responses all the time
Yes.
for him to feel good. He's always like poking something or like either with words or with stuff. He's always just wants that response. And I have this great picture of my niece and my nephew. My niece has a Virgo moon, which is all about keeping everything's neat and nice, and he is Aries moon. So I have this picture of them at the beach, and my nephew just threw a bunch of sand over her and her sun chair, and you see him like this, like so happy about it, having like created like a little bit of chaotic
Yeah.
time.
Adventure. It's an
Yeah,
adventure. Let's see what happens when I do this.
exactly. And my niece is just in the background, like cleaning it off, like frantically.
Oh, that's so funny, especially when you say poking. So
Yeah.
I married an Aries moon and man, and he's not a strong Aries moon though, because it's in the 12th house, which is the house that's hidden from us.
Mm.
So his Aries moon comes out in very intense bursts, sometimes really, really playful. Sometimes really not. But what I've seen with my daughter, my second child has an Aries moon, and she loves to poke and prod and get reactions from people. We 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 will actually, she's almost 11, and still to this day when she wants something, she just grabs it out of people's hands, and then she looks at me and goes, I did it again, sorry. Like her brain can't catch up with her physical, her body and her wants and her emotional needs, right? Her emotion says do it, so she just does it. Aries is not one to think first. It's act first, then think. So when you have act first, then think in with your emotions, and you are emotionally driven until you're about 8, like there's a lot of fun, exciting adventure for your parents.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It just is. And I love
It
this
is.
child to pieces because I mean, like I've learned how to just let go. But Aries moon people feel passionately, and they react passionately, and they move passionately, and everything is just new and exciting. And I do what I want, and I don't have to ask permission because why would I do that?
Mm.
So, like, it's great for initiating. It's not so great for following rules,
No,
like at all.
not at all.
So
Yeah,
yeah, your
that'd be
Aries,
fun.
Aries of course is a fire sign, and so that's the element of it. So when you've got your moon in fire, the best thing you can do is stay active to deal with your emotions. So I just told my husband this the other day. I said, "When was the last time you actively got yourself sweaty?" Said that's when the emotions come out, is when he's doing punching bag routines, or he's doing kickboxing, or he's doing martial arts, or like when he's doing something physical. And then when he stops, I can see that energy start to build, right? Like the pressure of the volcano. So if you or anyone in your life has an Aries moon, please do not let the volcano erupt out the top. Process it more often physically. Go for runs, go for bike rides. The best thing you can do is get into water. Go swim. Swimming is a fantastic endeavor for Aries moons because it's water, so it calms the fire, but they can direct it and like use it like a propeller and through the water. So swimming laps is an amazing, amazing thing. Gertie's an amazing swimmer and she loves it. And we actually just got her back signed up for swimming. So yeah, self esteem as well, self awareness. Like they are very aware of themselves, and they don't necessarily care. But any
Yeah.
other comments on Aries you've got?
No, but yeah, but I feel like it's that, like you said, like you just take something and because you don't think so much, it
Yeah.
has that energy of the kid being a little bit like, oh, I want to do a lot of things, but then also a little bit like, I don't know if it's right or
Yeah.
should
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 I?
I?
Yeah, yeah,
Should I? Yeah.
for sure.
Mm.
For sure. But it can be quite intense. The Aries moon people do have a reputation for breaking things. They don't usually have
Oh yeah.
the pullback button, right? To like restrain themselves. Like it has to come. I always tell my husband it has to come out his fists. He used to hit our laundry baskets and like punch a hole in the bottom of laundry baskets. We've lost a lot of laundry baskets.
But he has the punching bag, right?
We do now, yes. This is
Yeah.
after many years of figuring this out. But I do encourage people who have that Aries moon to stay active and hit something appropriate.
Yeah, yeah. My nephew, he will throw cars, like little
Yes.
cars. He will just throw them. They will come flying.
Yes. So my suggestion for his mother is I actually take old t-shirts and I cut them up and I stuff them and I make them into balls and I call them house balls, and they're just soft stuffy balls, and we have like 50 of them, and we actually play a house ball game and we chuck them at each other purposefully
Yeah.
and make a game out of it, so that like this is the fun thing to throw and this is okay to throw and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that helped when Gertie was young. That's what something we actually like had to teach them. to redirect that urge to hit and that urge to throw and that urge to, hurt something into softer things, unlike laundry baskets.
Yeah. It's like it's so much energy. So yeah, they need to expel it. They need to it needs to come out.
Yep.
Because I guess when you get emotional as well, it's even more energy. It's like,
For sure.
how do I get this out?
So preventative measures is what we focused on. I would even take a string and tie a balloon to it and tape the string to the ceiling or something. And then I would take a paint stick and tape a paper plate on the end of it and make like a paddle. And I would have her hit the balloon with the paper plate paddle.
Yeah.
And it worked really well. And it's hard to hit destructively with a paper plate and a balloon.
Yeah.
So we just kept trying to find ways to creatively prevent the outbursts as best as we could.
Yeah.
That's how we managed to have an Aries moon.
So what would you say that Aries moon kids need? I mean, they need to be able to how do you prevent it?
Exercise and physical activity, honestly. Physicality. Like they're so in their body that I can tell right away if Gertie has not had enough exercise because she'll start poking her siblings to get a rise out of them. So when she's starting fights and I call them throwing her fireballs to light people up, she'll start poking with her words or with her fingers or throwing pillows at people or something to get a rise out of them. And I look at her and say, did you get enough exercise today? And then she immediately recognizes it and she goes and does jump rope or she'll do exercise videos. So, I mean, but this is 11 years of working on this, and self-awareness. But we had to really kind of encourage her to just recognize when you're pissing off other people, you need to go get yourself heated up and you need to go burn that energy physically. So, and when they're older, of course, there's always other activities, rock climbing and all kinds of stuff like that, but physical stuff for sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna
tell your
I'm gonna think of tell my sister
anything physical.
Yeah.
And tell her I'm praying for her.
Yeah. And I can see him really loving all sorts of sports activities.
Oh, yeah.
Just getting a little wild.
Yeah. They get bored easily. You got to keep them active.
Yeah.
So then we go from Aries into Taurus.
Into Taurus, an earth sign.
That's not an Aries.
That's not Taurus. That's not Aries. No, it's so different. Taurus is all about being stable. Being stable, and they sort of have this need for security and safety when you have your moon in Taurus. Yeah. You have this need to have savings in the bank or have your loans paid off.
Knowing what's expected.
Knowing what's expected, definitely. They love routine, actually. Predictability. They sort of need that.
So my firstborn has a Taurus moon.
Oh.
And my secondborn has an Aries moon. So yeah, I know this well.
So how does it show up with your kid?
He gets very emotionally distraught when plans change.
Yes.
So let's say he's supposed to go to grandma's house and we have it all set up to go see Oma, and Oma shifts it and says, I'm really sorry, I got to do it tomorrow instead of today. He cannot recover for the rest of the day, sometimes longer. It sometimes will disrupt, I'd say, 3 or 4 days of his life. He can't stop thinking about it. He's brooding on it. He's stubborn and stuck in this energy. And he just won't move out of it. He almost wants to stay in this angry, irritated energy. And so this is a tough energy to work with. It really is. I struggle with it because it's practical. So in order for him to feel his feelings, it's got to be this practical. It's not as logical as Capricorn, but still it's very practical and it's slow. Sometimes I have an air moon, so I'm do and I'm good, right? Sometimes he doesn't feel the emotions from an event until 4 or 5 days later. And he'll tell me, and I'll go, wait, you're still bothered about that? like I don't even remember the situation or remember the incident, and he is just like emotionally melting about this, right? And I'm
Mm.
like so unaware. So it really can cause some issues there if you are not aware of how slow this happens.
Mm.
Like, and obviously slowness is relative.
Mm. It is, but I always think of a Taurus energy like syrup or like
Yeah.
mud. It's very like walking through mud or walking through syrup.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a great description.
Very
They're so
slow.
good at being stable when needed, though.
Mm.
I mean, this
Yeah.
kid is, as much as he's so challenging for me, this kid has been my absolute emotional rock when my mental health is not anywhere where it should be, right?
Yeah.
And so he's been like fantastic with all of my crazy. So there's that.
Yeah, no, they are really loyal, super
So loyal.
loyal, and like your kid has been, always brings you food when you're working. He's the
Always.
one who comes in and like
Always.
the plate of food for you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And we,
he's always making me food. That's his love language. Taurus loves
yeah,
their food,
they
right?
do.
They love their food. So that's a way that him and I connect is we bake together and we make food together.
Yeah.
And he loves it when we put on the laptop and we put on like a show where we watch an adventure show or something and then we bake a cake together or that's like his jam.
Oh my God. Yeah, that sounds like a perfect day for a Taurus or moon in Taurus.
Right?
Just a
Good
feeling,
movie,
you're at
good food.
home, you're around good food.
Yeah.
You get something for all the senses because
Yeah.
Taurus is all about like being sensual and like all of stimulating all of the
Yeah.
senses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked, he's teaching a course with me and
Mm.
for parents and children to help understand themselves better and each other better. And so last night we covered the earth and he was saying, I like to do things with the family that's active, but not too active. And I was like, what does that look like? He's like board games. We're moving, but we're not like exercising.
Oh my God.
He's like, I don't want to, like, we can go for a hike maybe,
Uh,
but I don't want to, like, go get, like, sweaty.
no, so he's like the way he looks at moving is moving things on like a chessboard or something. That's being active.
Yep, yep. I thought that was so funny. Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
So if you have Taurus people, Taurus moon people in your life, it's a really, really good thing to know that they don't particularly need to go out to have a good time. They love to be home. Love to be home. And they really, really love to have food, good wine, good sex, good couches, good comfy blankies to snuggle with,
Mm.
a good movie. Oh man, that was a perfect Taurus date right there.
Yeah. Yeah. They love to be comfortable. Comfort is like number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like Venus is connected to Taurus. So if you think of Venus, it's also, I feel like Venus is just lounging around and like being
For sure.
fed grapes. That's sort of what Taurus moons want, probably, just to be at home and being fed grapes or
Yes,
chocolate.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also they're very musical and Taurus rules the body part of the neck or the throat. So people who have a Taurus moon feel emotionally moved by song and by good speaking and by singing themselves. So they might not do it publicly. That's okay. But you'll probably catch these people singing while they're cooking or singing to their babies or whatever. So you can really connect well with a Taurus moon with good songs too. Good music.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wrote down a little note about Taurus moon, which says that they should act on their artistic talents and surround themselves with all earthly pleasures. Like
Nice.
that's the way to feel good with moon and Taurus.
I like that. And
Yeah.
their artistic endeavors will usually be something tangible and physical, maybe wood carving or wood crafting. I know my son is an absolute magical builder with Legos, with that creating, the structure of things, the tangibility of that. So Taurus creativity is usually very tangible, practical kind of creative endeavors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, let's move on to
Cool.
Gemini. I don't know anyone with this placement. So I'd like to just point out for everybody, Gemini is the sign of the twins. And I like to think of this also as the yin yang, right? You've got your black and your white, and they are two separate units, but they're one and the same, and you can't really separate them. And you can't merge the colors together either. They don't merge into gray. They're black and they're white, and that's their distinct feature. So when you have any Gemini placements, you will have this energy of this kind of bipolar yin yang feeling. All right, so that's normal for Gemini. There's nothing wrong with that. It's taken me 40 years to accept this and embrace embrace this, because it can feel very discombobulating. And I think a lot of people who struggle with mental health stuff really should have their charts read, and they should recognize if they have Gemini placements, because I think if you combine Gemini and Pisces, well, then you've got this bipolar feeling with this really, really deep need to like vacate and check out. All right. So like those are the kinds of things people need to know if they're struggling with. And I think chart readings are just beautiful, and making sure you know if you have a Gemini moon, you are going to feel bipolar frequently. It's okay. It's okay to feel two conflicting feelings or 15 conflicting feelings at some point in time, right? Gemini's an air sign, so it's really, really changeable, and it can change fast, just like the wind, right? You'll be standing outside, it's a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden you get this big gust of wind out of nowhere that slaps you in the face. Where'd it come from? Nobody questions it, nobody cares, it's just the wind. We just accept it. So when you have a Gemini moon, you change emotions rapidly, and you can't judge yourself for it. You can't be mad that you are angry. And I guarantee you, you'll be done being angry in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It just happens. And if you start crying, let it cry. Sometimes when I cry, I'm down for a while. Like I'll stay in that one for a while. But still, for me, a while is like 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas I know people who stay down for days and days and days. So, you know, with Cancer moons and stuff. So Gemini is very intellectual. It's ruled by Mercury. So it's very up here in the thinking. So in order for me to actually feel my feelings, they have to come out my mouth and or out my hand. And as I speak them or write them, then I'm able to actually like feel them. It's very interesting. So you have this placement in your life, right, Helena?
Yeah, I do.
What's your experience with it?
Yeah, very much like emotional ups and downs, for sure. And like, yeah, being angry 1 minute and then being totally lovely the next, and like appreciative of life.
Yeah.
And
It's like my husband calls it emotional whiplash.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, for sure.
So this is an important thing to take note of. If you're dating somebody or have children with this placement, they're gonna switch moods quickly, and they're gonna react very quickly to things. If they're brought some food and they're newly pregnant and it's not what they want, they will have a very powerful reaction. This may have happened this morning.
Very vocal.
I was like, "What is this?" And I was all verbally assaulting of this lunch or breakfast somebody had brought me, and instead of being thankful, and then I realized what I was doing, and like you said, I switched on a dime, and I took a deep breath, and I was like, "That was really nice of you to bring that. I'm really sorry. That was not kind of me." And my kid is looking at me like, "Whoa." Sorry, kid. Sorry. So it's something to know, but Gemini's moons specifically are so curious. So curious. They want to know everything. And my favorite thing is to dive into people's emotional crap. Like, I love it. I love it. I love astrology because I see the chart and I'm like, oh, look at there it all is. Right there.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
So I am a health coach for that reason. Like, I grab at people's emotional garbage and I pull it out and I help them dump it out and we deal with it. And I intellectually help them understand the feelings, they process the feelings, and they move on, and it's lovely. So I think it gives somebody a great ability for like therapists, psychologists, right, to hold space emotionally while intellectually helping them connect. There you go.
There you go. Yeah, and very much like if you have this moon placement, you really do need to talk about your feelings.
Have to.
Yeah, you have to talk about it.
If you do not, you will manifest health issues. I promise. Like 100% promise. You will.
Yeah, it's
And
come out.
yeah, it has to. You'll self combust and like eat yourself away if you don't talk
Mm.
about it. Yeah. So yeah, Gemini moons, I think their superpower would be their curiosity and their ability to communicate their emotions. I think that's a
Yes.
superpower that not many in the zodiac have. And being able to communicate those emotions is what makes really good writers,
Yeah.
really good speakers. So good.
That's very, very true. Because the person I know with this placement, um, he's it's so cool to listen to him talk about his feelings because it's very much like I don't really know if I'm feeling like this, but I'm gonna try it out and I'm gonna talk about it, and maybe I'm not feeling like that. But then me, like the opposite, Capricorn, like I need to be responsible with what I say, and maybe I don't know if I feel like this yet, so I shouldn't share it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. It is very opposite. That's interesting.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
I love that.
All
So
right.
tell us about the Cancer moon, Helena.
Yes. So Cancer is where the moon is at home. It's the ruling planet for Cancer is the moon, so it's very much the same energy. The moon has this nurturing, motherly vibe, and Cancer has the same. It just wants to nurture, and if your moon is in Cancer, then you probably also like to be at home.
Yeah.
And you probably have a lot of sentimental stuff around you, like you've
Oh yeah.
kept your like old stuff. Love,
Everything.
yeah, love going to antique shops and like you find something old and you polish it up and you're like, wow, look at this old thing, I love it. um yeah, love to be around family and whatever family is to you, and love to take care of them. Cooking for them, I feel like,
Yeah.
is a great way for Cancer moons to like show that, like, nurturing their
For sure.
family.
Growing food, cooking food from
Yeah,
scratch. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, like, and just be sort of being around their home, tending to their home. The
Yeah.
home is super, like, they need to have this sacred space where they can sort of retreat from the world and retreat into this sacred space.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
also they feel so much.
Everything.
They feel everything, and they have this moody kind of trait to them. So if they're watching a really sad movie, or if they're around people who are very, I don't know, angry, negative, or like hear bad things on the news, everything just goes
Yep.
inside of them. They feel
In their
everything.
crab shell. Yep.
Yeah, and that can be really difficult.
Yeah. I like
So
to
that,
think of Cancer moon people having almost like you have this kind of egg like aura around you, right?
yeah,
And the Cancer's egg aura is really, really big and it's filled with water, almost like a bathtub, right? So anytime you drop anything, even a cat hair into a bathtub, it makes a ripple, right? There is an energy. And so people with Cancer moon and water moons in general, but Cancer I feel like is really, really sensitive to this, to other people's feelings because they're the nurturer of the zodiac. They're the mother of the zodiac. They've got this instinctual connection with other people like a mother has with her child. It's this
yeah,
weird instinctual thing. So when your moon is there, you can feel everybody's stuff and you absorb their stuff really easily. So when you have this, you can get your bathwater tainted really easily when you're around unhealthy people or people who are not dealing with their emotions. And then you go home and suddenly you come home from work and you've got John's crap from the office that he didn't mean to dump on you, but your water took it in. And now
yeah,
you're swimming around in John's energy, but you don't know it's John's energy.
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
So now you're getting pissed off and angry and frustrated because John's energy is poking you in the back
yeah,
and you don't know what to do about it. So I feel like people with Cancer moon have to be made aware of how sensitive they are to other people's garbage. And they have to find a way, maybe get in the shower the second you get home, maybe get in the bathtub, go swimming before you get home, right? They have to find a way to clean their own energy. And that could look like a million things, but typically for me, I'm thinking water.
Yeah.
Do you?
Water is great because, like you say, you have this ripple effect, and the same is true about if you need to let something go, and if you're in water, because water enhances everything. It's like if you're in water and you meditate, like the vibrations are so much stronger. So if you're in water and you're releasing something, then it also has this really strong effect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know a lot of a Cancer moon that's very close to me that has not very much earth in his chart at all. And he has found gardening to be where he's very good at releasing his emotions. So it's almost like watering the ground, right, with his own emotions. So that's kind of how he decompresses and deals with the stress of life. And all the people around him are like, I don't understand why he's doing this. It's like that because that's what he has to do. Like you don't have to understand why he's doing it. He knows instinctually that this is how he cleans his tub water.
Yeah, I
So-
used to know a very Cancerian person. His moon was not in Cancer, but his sun was, and he was very Cancer, and he loves being in the garden as well. And I think for him, it felt like it was about he's nurturing these little
Yes.
babies, this
Yeah.
plant, like
These little seedlings. Oh, yeah.
taking such good care of them, like boop,
Yeah.
with a spray bottle, and like poking and
Pull the weed.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the little babies.
Yeah. Nurturing all of it. It's so funny to, I know.
It's at home, so it's like in a safe space.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you have any Cancer moon people around you, just know that they are going to want to have that alone time, and they need that alone time to retreat because they feel everything. Even going into, drop off their kid at school and come home, like that Cancer moon mom just absorbed all of the children in that school. Like she absorbed all of their hurts and all of their everything, whether she wants to or not. So good ideas for Cancer moon people would be saying specific mantras, right? So you would say a phrase before you go into a public space that I am safe and protected and I will not absorb what doesn't serve me. Or using essential oils to act as a shield. There's so many different things you can do. Certain crystals are very, very helpful. But there's a lot of different ways that you can actively set the intention to kind of keep your shield up so you don't absorb so many people's things. Yeah.
Because they can really get caught in emotions and worry a lot. I really think of like a mother, who like cooks, cleans, nurtures, cries, for the kids, and worry. Like all of these things is so Cancerian, and
They can get
they're also
stuck
so
in
beautiful.
history. They can get stuck in history a little bit too, and they can get stuck in memories that hurt that they didn't get to clear from their bathtub water, right? And that memory kind of impacted them, and they can kind of like their karma is almost to like learn to emotionally let go. Like you have to. You can't hang on to that emotional wound anymore. You just recognize that it's a scar, and you got that scar to learn the lesson and now move on, but don't carry the story with you and carry the wound with you.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like because the moon represents the mother, I feel like people who have the moon placed in Cancer, there might be this special bond or like some sort of really strong karma with their own mom.
Yes, for sure. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the biggest karma of Cancer moon is the connection with the mother.
Yeah. Or like a mother figure.
Mother figure.
Like a mother energy. Yeah.
Yep. But then we move on to Leo after Cancer. And now we've returned to the fire energies. So we got through our first fire, air, earth, and water, and now we are in fire again. And Leo is the will, the I will, right? Aries is more I am, and Leo is about I will. So if your moon is in the willingness department, they're kind of willing to try really anything. They're very dramatic, usually quite happy, and love to be the center of attention. Love it. And that means, you can get your attention in fun ways where, look, what happens if I dump this out, right? If it's a little kid, right? What if I dump this whole thing out? What will the parents do or all the adults sitting there talking do, right? Like they want to see what reaction they get from people and how they
Mm.
can get positive reactions and how they get negative ones. So
Mm.
so the little Leo moon child is going to be your experimenter to see what gets them the round of applause and what gets them the boo.
And they want the round of applause, I suppose.
They do. They do. And Leo rules the heart and the spine. So, Leo is known as the having pride and having a proud ego. So, your Leo moon people might have a little bit of an ego and think that they are the king or the queen. And maybe as a parent or a family member, you have to remind them that they're not. It's probably not going to go well.
Yeah.
No, probably not going to go well.
Do you know anyone with a Leo moon?
I know two family members. Yes,
Yeah.
I have two nieces with Leo moons, and then a good friend of mine, her daughter has a Leo moon, and the daughter is 13, and she frequently needs an ego check.
Yeah.
Frequently. It's definitely picked up in the last year or so, right around puberty. So, about 13 has been quite interesting to be around her. And I've had to step in a couple times as like a secondary parent and be like, no, that's not cool. That's not respectful. You cannot just think of yourself, right? Because Leo's a little bit in the only in the me, right? The me category. So, and the other two are two of my nieces, and they really love to be seen.
Yeah.
I can't say it
think
any
that's
other way.
it.
They just love to be seen in any capacity, whether it's their birthday or whether you send them a card or whether they're getting in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Leo moons have this need to, feel seen and just sort of be, like recognized. Like, yes, I see you there.
Yep.
You are here. I recognize you.
Yes, yes. So if these people are in your life or your children or whatever, I highly recommend getting them as many hobbies as you can and all of the art projects and hobby projects and getting them on stage, getting them some instruments to go play, right? They love to play. They want to try things and play. So any hobby, I mean, all of the arts and crafts. Here's how we make earrings. Here's how we do beads. Here's how we sew. Here's how we carve wood, right? It's just anything.
Yeah.
They'll do it all, and they'll happily do it all.
Yeah, because I would guess that these people also would love, getting creative, like have this need to create things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like jewelry. I mean, everyone's not going to make jewelry, but I felt like jewelry.
But jewelry is eye-catching, and it catches your
Yeah.
attention. And if you have a nice big fan earrings or something, people are going to look at you, right?
Yeah.
Or if you've got real big, nice, shiny jewelry, people are going to look at you, right? I like to think of Lady Gaga up on stage, right? Like everything about her screams, "Look at me!" And then she's an Aries sun, so I don't know what her Leo placement is. I'll have to look, but I know she's got it. How can you?
Somewhere.
How
It's
can
in
you
there
not?
somewhere.
But she's an Aries sun, so she's very much like I don't have to ask permission to dress the way I want. And then wherever her Leo is, like it just totally stands out in her chart. But everything she wears on stage is Leo. Look at me. Hello. Look how strange I look today. Isn't it fun? Right? She doesn't care.
Ain't I fun?
Aren't I fun? So yeah, if you know people in your life that have Leo moons, they emotionally are going to want to play all the time, probably to a detriment. But they'll feel a rejection, a sense of rejection if they're not the best, though. They want to be number one, and they want to be the spotlight on stage. And if they're not, they'll feel wounded and rejected. So that's something to take note of.
I think rejection is a big thing for Leos. Yeah. So Leo moons, I would say rejection hurts a lot.
Yeah. You got to ease them down slowly as they pass out that they didn't get the part. Just catch them and lay them down because they just have to feel that feeling, and that's part of their karma is to learn how to feel okay with rejection. And then with Virgo next, we go back into the earth element.
Earth.
And this is a mutable Earth. So this one is more changeable than the other ones. And it's ruled by Mercury, which also rules Gemini. So Gemini rules an air sign and an earth sign. So it's interesting dichotomy thinking about that.
Yeah.
So Virgo's known for analyzing. I analyze. So if you've got an analytical moon, that's a tough one to deal with.
Yeah. Analytical can be critical as well to others and to yourself. And that can be very tough.
Yeah.
That can be very tough.
But they're real perfectionistic, so emotionally feel wounded when something isn't perfect. But then there's that fun question of what is perfection, right?
Yeah.
It's a perception. So when you have a child or a family member with a Virgo moon, my father actually has this placement. It's hard to live up to the standard that is not actually there's no measurement, right? It's just a perception of a measurement. Yeah. So I, as a child, always felt like I could never live up to this his emotional standard, and he didn't know what his emotional standard was.
No,
he just knew there was one.
Yeah.
So, but I have one of my very best friends is a Virgo moon, and I feel like she's working hard on having a healthy Virgo moon where she uses it to help others, and she's of service to others, right? She helps them organize their homes, and she helps them process their emotions, and helps them. She does Reiki and all of the energy work. So she's using her
happy Virgo moon.
She's using her Virgo moon to be of service, and I think that's the key here for Virgo for sure.
I think so too. To feel, to be in service and to feel like you're being recognized for your sort of intelligence and for your service.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also rules ancestry and some trauma there as well. So those are things to take note of with Virgo that aren't talked about a lot. So when you've got your emotions tied to the past and ancestry, you might be very interested in genealogy or studying the past stuff or finding out something about your lineage. So that might be something that very much emotionally ties you to the past and the future, really. But analyzing those family trees, right, and checking them all out.
Yeah. Is that the lawnmower again?
It is the lawnmower. I can't discredit the child for going out and cutting grass like we needed.
No, that's a good thing. Yeah. Virgo is a super logical sign, and the moon is super not logical. So this can be a little bit of a difficult energy to sort of balance that. And they
get real critical about it because you can't logic your emotions.
No.
So then they get critical of themselves because they want to logic their emotions. Yeah. So one of the things they have to do is let go of that inner critic dialogue, that inner conversation where they're being critical of emotions and just letting the emotions pass like a parade. You don't have to jump on every parade float that goes past you. You just watch the parade. And so that's the lesson for Virgo moon, is to just watch and analyze the parade, but don't necessarily jump on each float and nitpick it apart.
And the parade being your feelings. And
your feelings, yes, absolutely. Because that's their karmic thing, is to learn to let that go and just learn to be okay with that.
To ride the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Of feelings.
Feelings.
Yeah, because I also wrote down here about Virgo moons that they can come off as a little cold and detached because of their analytical and critical way of going about emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
To others, that's not so. It doesn't sound so nice. It could be hard to deal with someone with this one.
Yeah, my dad doesn't show his feelings very much at all, but how he shows you that he loves you is he sees that, we built an office studio and we needed siding. So he goes and buys us all kinds of siding and comes over and puts siding on the studio.
Yeah.
So, I love you. Here you go. Have some siding. And he'll come in he bought us a water heater for Christmas and came and installed it.
Super practical.
Like very, very practical. Like if you need love in a different way, too bad. Yeah. That's what you get. You get a water heater and siding. Yeah. And I'm good with that. But it took me a long time. It took me a lot of astrology studying to learn that. And
Yeah.
now I'm able to observe and laugh at it. But, growing up, that was hard to deal with because I wanted emotions in a different way. I wanted to talk about them and to feel them. And that wasn't, no, that wasn't it, what it was. So,
No.
so I think astrology has helped me to heal a lot of ancestral stuff too and generational stuff too. Because then you just accept your parents for who they are and
Yeah.
you thank them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, Virgo moons. If you can find yourself in a place of where you can be in service,
Yeah.
because Virgo is all about being in service,
Yeah.
and that is amazing for your emotions and for your needs, and try and calm that inner critic down.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then with Libra, we've got our air element next. And this is the phrase that would go with Libra would be I balance or we balance. So Libra is all about the other.
Yeah.
How will my emotions affect someone else? So when you have a Libra moon, you don't get to just feel your emotions. You have to feel your emotions based on how the other person feels about your emotions and about the situation and all of that. It's very interesting for Libra moons because they really do feel based on another person.
Yeah.
Very, very much. One of the things they need to work on is learning to feel in balance with themselves and make decisions from their own heart versus what others think and feel.
Yeah.
That is hard.
That is.
You know any Libra moons?
I don't. I do not.
I know quite a few.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah. I attract them to me. I have 3 planets in Libra and I attract them to me. And they're really amazing people because Libra just wants peace and harmony and balance and justice and like very much a very respectful emotional placement. Like if this is where your moon is, your feelings are very surrounded with respect and harmony. Like that's really what you need to feel emotionally stable and what you try to give off emotionally. And even though the moon is a reactionary thing, a Libra is an air placement. So air placements are able to intellectualize their emotions. It's kind of a weird superhero power that they have. And so they are able to feel their emotions in a different sort of way. And they can intellectualize that and kind of tweak their feelings based on what they view with other people. So very much balance is what they're looking for. They just want to feel emotionally harmonious. They don't like arguing at all. Ooh, like they will if they have to. But man, Libra moons just want some peace. Like what? Can we just chat about this? Like I don't want to argue with you. Like no.
Libra moon, yeah, because we talked before we started recording. I just told you about. I asked someone online, like, what is your moon placement? Because you feel like such a safe and nice, and you just feel so safe, so damn safe. Yeah. And she was like, I have a Libra moon. So,
which makes sense. Libra would be representative of the lawyer, and you turn to your lawyer for safety and comfort that they know how to intellectually get you through the situation you're in, right? Yeah. So Libra really wants to be the peacemaker, and they love relationships, and they're super artistic. Super
artistic. Very, yeah.
If you have a Libra moon child or person in your life, if they do not sing or dance or do art in some way, they're probably broken. Something's very wrong if they're not performing or creating in some way, right? They just have to. They're very fluid with their body. Lots of dancers are Libras.
Yeah.
I've met lots of dancers who have Libra energy.
I feel like I could, if I could switch, I might have switched to a Libra moon.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's just sort of based probably of this girl online that I saw.
It seems like a really good moon placement. I mean, I have 3 planets there, but not my moon, but I have an air moon. So I feel like I can identify, but it does feel like a really good placement. They really do care about the other person. Like more than anything is they want. So
maybe that's the shadow side.
It is. It is. They don't have healthy boundaries. They do not have healthy emotional boundaries, and they will probably be the first to be in abusive relationships.
Yeah.
For sure. Because they are so concerned about what the other person thinks and feels that they will sacrifice their own emotions to keep the other happy. So
To keep the harmony.
to keep the harmony. Yep. Yep. So they'll be the first to be in some kind of unhealthy relationship for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure. So I think for the Libra moon people, or if you have them in your life, know that they really just do not want to argue. And if they are arguing or do start to get angry, it's probably because they have felt some type of disrespect. That's the boundary of a Libra, is a lack of respect for whatever, myself or whatever. And that is the biggest thing, is if they feel slighted or if their children have been disrespected, that's when you'll see the mind of the lawyer start to come out. And then they can use that real sharp tongue and all the vocabulary they have. And that's when they can sling some good one-liners to shut people up. I've seen that. So Libra really, but they don't want to do that. That takes a lot of effort for them, and it's not their go-to at all.
So how would a Libra moon act or react in like a confrontation? If someone confronted them.
Yeah, oh, for sure they would step away as the avoidance would be the first. Engagement would be then to try to smooth over or create some type of negotiation. Really good at negotiation.
Yeah.
Really good at negotiation. So some type of like, okay, I'm like, let's just work this out where like I just need 5 minutes so I can go do this, right? There'll be some type of negotiation strategy. But at first it's usually avoidance and then negotiation. But yeah, because the avoidance just is the best thing they've learned to keep the harmony.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, if you have a child with this placement, it's easy to take advantage of them. It is.
Yeah.
It is. And not that you're doing it intentionally to do harm, but if you know this child just always will kind of do what you ask, or it's
becomes a habit.
Yeah, it does.
It becomes something bigger.
It does, for sure.
Something bigger and bigger and bigger.
For sure. But then we go to Scorpio, and they don't care what people say.
No. And I have a suggestion for you, Laura, my friend.
Yes.
Should we make this a 2 episode?
I think we should. Thank you for that. Yes. Why don't we do a 2-parter?
Yeah.
We'll finish the rest of the zodiac. We got Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Why don't we cover those in round 2? I love that.
Yeah.
For
Sweet.
sure.
And maybe we can get into the houses quickly or something.
For sure.
Something like that.
Yeah. I like it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much. We'll dive into the next round of moon placements and check you all on the next side.
Yeah. And also, don't forget that if you want a reading, you can have one.
You can.
Either on the show or just in private, the 3 of us.
Yes.
You, Laura, and you.
Yeah, and you get opinions and interpretations from 2 astrologers who think very differently.
Yes, we do. So come on in.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. If you would like to be a part of our show or have a personal reading done with us, email us at ramgoatastrology@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. See you next week.